Pachaparo, Wide at 7. Thank you for tuning. The replay. So, this is going to be our etymology and energy session for the day. Thank you for tuning. So, I was talking to a young king this week, and in the conversation, he said, he got to the point in the dialogue where he said, man, I realized I was just surviving. Now, a lot of things have been, a lot of our strengths have been used against us and implied to be weaknesses. And once seen as a weakness, many will never honor mastery of it as a technique. So we're going to dive into the word survive today, because even Beyonce run around talking about she a survivor. And I want you to know by the end of this video how much power there really is in surviving. Now, to understand this concept, you can easily, or at your leisure, go back and watch the video on humble versus proud, where the new weapon is for you to worship humbleness as if it's something great. See, in prelude to today's video, we'll warm up with this concept. The word humble means not proud. Because remember, manifestation signs, Ynet 7. There's 7 of them over there on the left hand of your screen, proving the law of attraction is working. Right? So humble means not proud. So by definition of your worship of the word, that means that proud should mean something bad if you would want to be humble, which is not proud, as if that's a good thing. But when you look into the word proud, it means noble, excellent, and splendid. So because of your appetite for humbleness, you in turn repel, demonize, and remove anything proud from your environment for the sake of being humble. So by default, that means that you attack all noble, excellent, and splendid that you see. That is the power of your belief, your emotional attachments to beliefs in words, in spells, in energy, being a transducer, and not actually having knowledge of what it actually means. Because someone has influenced your belief that definitely knows the truth and have turned you into a weapon, destroying your own community, destroying your own family. So let's look at the power of survive for all the survivors who subscribe to YNet 7. So when you look into the etymology, not the dictionary, not the Webster 2020 edition, you would have to get the Webster back in the 1400s. Okay? People that know books know the difference between the reprint, today's version, and the unabridged edition. See, the unabridged is the original. Right? So when you look at the word survive, it shows a verb in 1473. Okay? It says to live on, especially in the legal sense of a survivor. Now, when you look at survivor as the noun, you'll see that it actually originated in 1425. So the noun came before the verb. The noun existed, and then someone created the slang to put it into the verb form, into the action form. And it stuck. It became part of Webster's dictionary, just like bootylicious got added because people made it popular when it didn't exist before. So the original use of the word, the original construct, and let's deviate for a moment, because now what I want you to understand is there's levels to everything. So my goal, like, I encourage everybody to take $60 to $100 and go get an etymology dictionary so that you can properly deploy or employ the law of attraction when you find it necessary. An etymology dictionary, entry level, is $60 to $100 right now. They actually go up from there to volumes, like an encyclopedia, where it costs thousands of dollars. And these little dissections become extremely more elaborate. So one of my goals in life is to one day have a volume of etymology dictionary / encyclopedias, because then it'll fill in all of this stuff in between. All right. So that's sidebar number one. Sidebar number two is, you've heard me say before that oftentimes people are using slang, or what they think is slang, not realizing that they're actually using the word as it really means. They think that's how far removed today is from the truth in some cases, that when you're speaking the truth, you believe it's a lie. And a great example of that is right below the word survive, in the section of survivor where it says sus. See, susceptible, suspend, sustain. That's what that word is used as in, right? So anyway, survivor 1425 in law, the surviving person of two or more with a joint interest. See, surviving, they got you tricked into into believing that surviving is just making it, or going through, like, what some look at it as, what you're going through, rough times or something. I mean, you're just barely making it through. You're just surviving. Nah. See, because if you believe that's what it is, remember what the law of attraction is, because we're going to take this full circle. The law of attraction is same thing as, you could say, on the religious side, speaking a different language. It's the same thing as prayer. Whatever you focus on, you're asking for, you're wanting to attract. For those that are unfamiliar with the concept. So if you associate surviving with rough times, tough times, barely making it, etc., I'm going to show you how that is dangerous. By the end of this video, you will change your mind. So, let's review that again. Survivor in law is the surviving person of two or more with a joint interest. That's why a lot of people don't like this is why it's hard for me to talk to people sometimes. And, because the hardest part of having any wisdom is constantly remaining disciplined to the knowledge. So when you guys learn the etymology, you need to practice that full time. You need to now say, okay, I didn't know this yesterday, but now I know, and I have to practice making sure I adhere to the truth, because again, whatever you focus on, you attract. So you had the past, so to speak. We ain't gonna call it an excuse, but the past to say you didn't know last month, last week, yesterday. But once you learn it, once you see it, once you're exposed to it, now it's your will. What you do. You see, and we're gonna connect that with this video. All right, so the surviving person of two or more with a joint interest, and it sounds so easily understood, right? Oh, the surviving person. You mean like, okay, so I'm not actually surviving just from making it day to day. You mean like our sons and daughters, right? The surviving person, me and the other parent, right? Okay. So a joint interest means, we'll just use the modern definition. I ain't even gonna go back to the core. I'm just gonna give you the visual with the modern. So, the joint interest means the interests and the other property rights in the assets that both parties own or acquire an interest in pursuant to this agreement. You see what I mean? Sounded really simple, didn't it? And the great part is, once we actually grasp that the words we use every day mean something different, we can understand law better. We can understand contracts better. Oh, contracts, as in pursuant to this agreement. It just totally changed survival. All right. So that just upped the ante to what it actually takes to survive. We've been way too comfortable, way too laxed on ourselves. And I like talking to people because it helps me have moments like this. Like that conversation was so powerful, and we made so much progress at that moment. And even I learned something, because what I learned is that I said, you know what? I need to look into this. And that's what brought us here today. So it's always the perfect day. Because I didn't go into this much depth before with the concept of surviving. Right? And we built on a lot of stuff that day, and it was cool, man. It was real cool. So joint interest means the interest and other property rights in the asset that both parties own or acquire an interest in pursuant to this agreement. So you got to have an asset to be a survivor. You got to have at least an asset, and one, maybe multiples. The more the merrier, right? So if we go back to this definition here now, survivor is the surviving person of two or more with a joint interest. Now, what is a person? Because we got to know what a person is. So person prior to 1200 is an individual. Now, that sounds like we know what it's saying, doesn't it? It just appears to be so simple. An individual. Also, a role or character. And then later on it adds human being. So if it has to add human being, you gotta think that maybe individual isn't referring to you or me. You see how sidebar. The word technology originally referred to grammar. Like this is not what technology originally was. This microphone, this screen, this that you're watching me on, this was not originally technology. Technology was grammar. That's, the magic of things, the spells. That was technology. So do you see what I mean? Like, look, check it out. It says an individual, and 10 years ago, I'd have been like, oh, you mean like people? I'm with you. We've all been there before. Even the people that already know this stuff. At one point, we didn't. That's the power of being open to being able to say, hey, I don't know what I don't know. Because until you do that, you'll never grow. So let's get into this. Let's get back to this. Person is an individual. Also, role or character. They slide in human being, right? But then they clarify originally character in a drama, mask. And then it tells you possibly borrow from da 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 da, right? So even though they let you know that we sometimes said it was a human being, they let you know that originally it was a character in a drama or a mask. Which goes back to the top, an individual, role or character, right? Let's break this down. Because see, an individual is particular to one person. Right? That's what it says. And you go, see, I told you that was simple. That's it. Right? But read on. and directly from indivisible, which is down right beneath it, and it means not divisible from dividere, which is divide. So basically, individual comes from indivisible, which means undivided. Right? So an undivided, we can just replace individual with undivided. An undivided role or character. Now here's where it gets interesting. Don't worry, I'm gonna tie this all together. It's your will. So a role, if you look at the first one, right? Because it was ROLE, right? See, this is the games they play. So role, it says, was 1606. And it goes in and say part played by a person in life. Well, we already know a person is an undivided role or character, so it's double. It's double talking. That's what. That's why it's so. That's why they do it this way, so that you gotta look up 18 words before you actually find out the true meaning of one. And most of us is too busy saying we're busy. That's why we can't communicate. So when you meet someone that wants to actually talk to you, you may not enjoy yourself. I appreciate the people who enjoy conversation, because that was the original technology. So getting back to it, 1606. It's part of. This is why I don't expect everybody to understand my music, because we gotta understand the words first. You can't appreciate the lyrics if you don't know what the words mean. So 1606, it was part played by a person in life. Literally, roll of paper on which an actor's part was written. So it's the script. Stick to the script. Stay in your lane. All this stuff, right? All these phrases. But it says from Old French, rolle, right? I'm going to say it rolle. I don't know how you say it. It's ROLLE. And then it says roll, the way we spell it today, with 2 L's, the other one, right? And the reason that's important is because ROLE was 1606. We're looking for person which was out probably 1200 or before. Now it makes sense when you look at ROLL, because it was probably before 1200 also. And it was scroll, list, rolled up mass, which is like the part where it says roll of paper on which an actor's part was written. So a person is an undivided role or part on which, undivided paper, right? Part played by a person in life, which it has been written for them. So it's a script. So a person is an undivided script. It's a play. It's a drama. Oh, character in a drama. Right? Here's your role. That's a person. Which we're not even going to get into law, people. Okay? Because I'm not an attorney. I'm not an esquire. And if you need any legal advice, then seek a professional that can give you legal advice. Now, where are we at? individual. So an undivided script, an undivided, here's your part, an undivided, run this play, hike, ready, break. So what's character? So a character is a symbol or imprint on the soul. You see where I'm going with that? So distinctive mark or nature, engraved or scratched, right? So, oh, you mean like a branding? So you gotta have a brand. So in order to survive, we actually need to have a brand and or a playbook for the people that we're leaving it to fulfill. So now let's look at this again. Survive came later. We just turned it into the action. All right. That's like saying chef. Oh, you in there chefing. Now we just gonna make it an action. We just, that's what that is. So survivor, the surviving person of two or more with a joint interest. You see how that's so much more than what you thought it was before? Now, so you need a brand or you need a script so that people can be undivided and unified in the play. Because all the world's a stage. So basically, to survive is your will. See, and I actually started off with the one at the bottom. Again, the dates, right? So you heard thy will be done or do what thou wilt, and it's a free will state, free will country, world, life, right? We're dealing with universal laws, the law of attraction. That's all you need to, in my case, in my field of view, that's really all you need to master. That's all I mastered. I'm still learning about it, but I mean, you could say I mastered. I put in tens of thousands of hours, whatever you want to say, right? And these are just tools for me to prove it works. So to say to survive or survivor is the power to choose. It's your will. That's what a survivor is. You're executing your power to choose, your choice, your wish. Now, the problem is if you believe that your power to choose can only result in a certain level of success, which you are humbled by, not proud of, then you're setting yourself up to be in a position where you will never achieve any more than humbleness. So think about the parents, past, present, and future, drilling into their next generation heads and minds and hearts and souls, etched, engraved, into them distinctively marked their soul with the mindset of, this is what you get, this is all you get, because we were just trying to survive, right? And it's not that that's not mentally what it looks like. I know what you're trying to say, but the problem is you're associating the possible outcomes with just this level of stuff and below. And once we do that, once we cut off anything greater, anything noble, excellent, and splendid, once we get rid of all proud opportunities, we have what they now refer to as modern day surviving. I want you to know today that your survivability, your ability to survive, survival for you is unlimited in what you will produce. I need you to know that that's the proper term. You are surviving, yes. And I want you to be proud of how you survive. Because once you become proud, you'll reintroduce the opportunities to achieve proudness, noble, excellent, and splendid in your results. And the word success actually just means results, which is why the Drake song is so stupid, because I just want to be successful. No matter what you do, you're going to be successful, because no matter what you do, you're going to have a result, period. Like, it's just, whether it's good or bad or neutral, it's still a result. So that whole song was pointless. Like, it was a waste of time. And it was a hit song because nobody knows what the fuck the word means. I'm not mad. I'm just showing you how you can see this in real life, that there's an opportunity for our growth here and development. You have an emotional attachment to being successful is everything that you're missing from your own survival. So now you meet someone that knows this or operates in this frequency, and you are disgusted with them because you don't understand you have the same ability. No matter what it looks like in front of you right now. Because when it says will, and it says their power to choose, choice, whoosh, ... it says see will number 1. And will number 1 says the verb be going to, be determined to. And then it says ... choose. So you're talking to someone who was sleeping on the floor of a property that didn't belong to them, on a pile of clothes, not even 10 years ago, on purpose, because I walked away from everything that I had built for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was making $42,000 a year when I was 20. Sitting at a desk. I was a senior account manager at a company that spent $32,000 just to teach me tone. Not college degree, just tone, because we spoke on the phone a lot. That taught you how to control the call, which you could replace the word control the conversation. But it was in the financial system. And learning all the stuff I learned that I didn't want to be a part of the financial pyramid structure for various reasons that if you watch the channel long enough, you already know, and I don't need to repeat. I walked away from some other things at the same time, approximately, like everything I had built for myself that was doing very, very well, because I was surviving differently, because my choice, I chose to make a different choice. You see what I'm saying? And when you do that, when you make a change, it's not always going to be an overnight thing. It's going to get rough. When you unplug the fan from the wall, it stops spinning until you connect it to another plug. When you go to move that fan, when you say, man, it's hot in here, you ain't got no AC. We know, we all been there before at least once. We gonna pull this fan out of this room and take it in this room with us, and you unplug the fan without even turning it off, and it just stops spinning, right? It's lost all drive. It's lost all be going. It's lost all determination, and it has no choice. But when you plug it back in, and it starts spinning again, because the selector knob has been chosen to spin on medium, and it gets going again. So if you've unplugged from what you view your success is, or what you view success to you is, and you think that that is, you're now just surviving, know that your success is part of your survival as well, and plug back into the power it's going to take for you to reach it. You're going to go through some stuff, but you can get there. I need you to know surviving is much more powerful than you ever thought. You had a power to choose. It's your will. And that's exactly why you get like this, will and testaments. And we're going to close this out, but I want you to know this, because it says here, Wikipedia. You know, you guys are familiar with that. Sometimes I just got to give you something that you're familiar with, because if I keep it too strange and foreign all the time, it makes it harder for you to believe. So I'll mix it up from time to time. So a will and testament is a legal document that expresses a person's, remember we just learned what a person was, right? And it says here, testator wishes as how their property is to be distributed after their death, and as to which person, executor, is to manage the property until its final distribution. For the distribution of property not determined by a will, see inheritance and intestacy. Right? Though it has at times been thought that a will historically applied only to real property, while testament applied only to personal property, thus giving rise to the popular title of the document as Last Will and Testament. The historical records show that the terms have been used interchangeably. Thus, the word will validly applies to both personal and real property, and will may also create a testamentary trust that is effective only after the death of the testator. Right? Now here's what I want to point out this to you real quick. Freedom of disposition, right? The concept of the freedom of disposition by will, familiar as it is in modern England and the United States, both generally considered common law systems, is by no means universal In fact, complete freedom is the exception rather than the rule. Civil law systems often put some restrictions on the possibilities of disposal. See, for example, forced heirship. So let me read that part again. Civil law systems often put some restrictions on the possibility of disposal. See, for example, forced heirship. So stop putting restrictions on the possibilities of your disposal because of your emotional attachments to the belief of the word survive, and know that you have been the victim of forced heirship of the definition of the word, and know that your survival is everything and anything you want to make it. But you need to have some property or some brands, some things that's going to touch people's souls and leave behind. I think you call that a legacy nowadays. What is your legacy, people? That is how we survive. Now let's look at this. Types of wills. I'm going to close after this. Why not 7? Pasha Paro. Non-cooperative. I don't even know about it. It don't matter if you say it right. Just know what it look like, know what it means. Stop judging people. So, oral or dictated, often limited to sailors or military personnel. So this is where you got, like word is born. You know what I'm saying? You gonna tell somebody, yo, they said they wanted it to be done like this. And this is how we gonna do it. I mean, you seen some statements like that in movies and in neighborhoods everywhere around you all the time, right? This is what they would have wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like, these sayings. So a holographic will, written in the hand of the testator. In many jurisdictions, the signature and material terms of the holographic will must be in the handwriting of the testator. So look, you're going to write this down. Like, look, grandma sent you to the store with a handwritten note to the liquor store. You was 12. Talking about give me some cigarettes, a fifth, and some scratch tickets. See, but you got, again, what we say up here. Civil law systems often put restrictions on the possibilities of the disposal. Stop limiting your mind to think that, see the whole equation, not the variables, right? And once we do that, we realize that grandma didn't have to die to write a holographic will. We went to the liquor store with one for her when we were 12. And they gave us a fifth, some cigarettes, and some scratch tickets to take back to grandma. Because that was her will. Her will be done. She's a survivor. And you helped her survive. Basically. Because it takes more than one to survive. You gotta have a person that has a will or a choice, a wish, and a person that executes it. That could be your business and your customers. You see what I'm saying? All right, let's keep going down this list. Let's turn this list of what looks like, complicated shit into real life examples. Self-proved. In Solomon form with affidavits of subscribing witnesses to avoid probate. So that's just like, we saw, he said, she said, this is what they want. I'll testify to that. Yeah, I was there when he said that. She said that. Yeah, she said, go ahead down to the store and pick that up for her and bring your ass home. You were supposed to be home an hour ago. Right? That's simple. Self-proved will sent to you via youth on a bike when you were a kid. They tell you to stop at the store and you late getting home until you just said that you don't give a fuck no more and you stop coming home. Right? So, notarial, right? So that's the will in public form and prepared by civil notary. So, civil law notary. So you you got in trouble at school and you had to bring that paper home and get it signed, or you got a permission slip to go on a trip and you had to bring that form home and you forgot, but you still want to go on a trip, so like you just sign it for it. You know what I mean? That's the notarial. You know what I'm saying? So and then it would have a witness like lying with it, right? Like somebody else side too, whether it's the teacher or the principal, to say that it's all legit. You know what I'm saying? So mystic is sealed until death. You know what I mean? So you left this you know how your grandparents be leaving stuff in the Bible, right? That you can't open, or you can't read. You know what I mean? Because it's they special book. I never read the whole Bible. I don't know about everybody else, but I didn't read most of it because it was anyway. But you know how they got theirs, and they be having like your hair in there from when you were a baby, and then they little family notes and stuff. You know what I mean? So hey, that could be like an example of mystic. If you could think of different examples, put them in the comments below. I'm just coming off the top. This is live. So serviceman's will. So will of a person in active duty military service and usually lacking certain formalities, particularly under English law. So, you know, they was like out in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of like when you stranded on a desert island and you just wrote that shit down real quick. Like, yeah, you know, Timmy can have the dog, and if I don't make it back, John can have a car, and fucking, I ain't got much else. Let me put this shit in the bottle. You know what I mean? Because you got the wrong idea what surviving is, and you say you're gonna float that bottle, and hopefully somebody find it, and then they'll be able to, like, you know, in case you don't make it back, you know, take care of your family with your last wishes. You know what I'm saying? So reciprocal, mirror mutual husband and wife's will. Wills made by two or more parties, typically spouses, that make similar or identical provisions in favor of each other. So, you know, that's self-explanatory. Or also take it to the level of business owners. This is why a lot of people don't get involved with business partners, because when you write up the contract that says if something happened to you, you know, then long live the business, or if something happened to you, then long live the business. You invite things to happen to you and long live the business. You know what I'm saying? So, or, you know, situations like that. Put your own examples down below. So joint will is similar to reciprocal, but one's instruments is has binding effect on the surviving testators, right? So unsolomon will is will in which the executor is unnamed. So this is like, I think this could be really like, you know, if you ever had said you done something on faith, like faith just told me to do this, or my higher self just told me to do this. You know what I mean? Like, what made you do that? I don't know. Who told you to do it? Nobody. I don't know who told me to do it. Like, it's unnamed. That's unsolemned will. You know what I mean? So you see, that's survival, people. That's survival. It's whatever you make it. So what I need you to do is to know that we're all survivors. I don't care if you got negative $2,000 in your account or positive 200 million. We're all surviving. So once we take that difference, that emotional belief that someone is different than me, out of the program, out of the equation, it really frees up your heart and mind to focus on what you really want in life. Not everybody wants a Porsche 911 Turbo. We ain't gonna talk about how fast I can go on that, but so not everybody wants the Bentley or the Maybach. Somebody with the same amount of money right now bought a Toyota Camry instead. You see what I'm saying? That's their survival plan. So once we separate the fact and remove and throw out that wrong energy of, they have and I have not, or I feel like I have less than I should, or any of that makes you feel like you're just surviving, you can open up to the proud stuff and stop being humble. Because it takes just as much work, if not more sometimes, to remain humble as it does to be proud. If you look back in your life, I guarantee there's things you could have done, things you could have bought, but you were like, nah, that ain't me, man. I ain't even gonna do that because, only people that be like this be doing stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That was in your heart to do, man. You know what I'm saying? And you destroyed it. You killed it because of your belief of what the word survive means or surviving means. Open up to the concept that all things are possible, inshallah. Right? No, I'm not Muslim. I just know a bunch of different words, man. Islamic is a way of life. Islam is a way of life. It's not a religion. But we got to get to these words, because once we get in these words, it changes everything. So I'm Pasha Paro. If you felt this today, if you really, really, really appreciate this, then, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you know somebody that could benefit from hearing this, I don't want to hear how long it is. If it takes you a week to watch it in 10-minute segments, then take a week and watch it in 10-minute segments, because I guarantee you, when you were younger and you wanted to watch that porno, you watched it. When you wanted to see the Wheel of Fortune, you watched it. When you wanted to see that football game yesterday and the Lakers win the championship, you made sure you watched it, or you went back and saw the replay, the highlights. So I am not one for sympathy, because however you want to survive is your own will. So, enhanced intuition, seeing numbers, better sleep, deeper dreams, the appearance of spirit guides, more money comes your way, seeing rainbows. Haven't figured that one out, but increased synchronicity. You see what I'm saying? Once you get this, once you brush that off your shoulder, Jehovah, right? It frees up your mind. How much energy are we wasting on stuff that really don't matter? If you a battery in a Tesla, you ain't going far if 90% of your juice is drained on bullshit and tricking yourself into limiting yourself to believing you can't go as far as you really can. So take the time now to learn how powerful. That's the danger. That's the dangerous power of being a survivor. Is that it's your choice. It's your will. Get rid of the humbleness and start finding reasons to be proud. Because you've become a weapon to yourself. I'm Pasha Paro, YNS7. Thank you for tuning the replay.